So I just want to assess again, see how
That's the Sutherland's grip.
So I'm doing Sutherland's grip, and then I'm just very light contact with the teeth, and then light contact with the greater wings. Now some of you notice some people have really wide foreheads, and some of you have fairly small hands. And so if you can't make it all the way to the greater wings, you can reach usually these little knobs on the frontal bone on either side, and that part of the frontal bone follows the sphenoid, right? And so you can come on right here and then intend your palpation further back, and you can connect with the sphenoid that way. So if you have little hands and somebody's got a wide head, you can still work with them. Okay? I'm just going to see what's going on with her system. So she's going into extension. Interesting. So when her sphenoid's going into flexion, I'm not feeling any movement in the maxilla at all. It's going back into extension. And I'm feeling the teeth move a little closer together. When she goes into flexion, again, it feels like there's no movement at all. And when she goes into extension, so she's really bound up in there, and I'm feeling like it's straight back in that way, in there. And she's again a little more compressed on the left than the right, superior compression on the left, which would be like a side bend.
Superior compression on the left?
Yeah, so one way I could treat this would be to beam some energy down into there. And then I would probably come like this. And so I'm just pinching her teeth, have my thumb on the inside of the teeth and finger on the outside, and I'm laying down along the side because I want to contact as many teeth as I can, not just grab one tooth. And I'm monitoring her sphenoid with my thumb and ring finger, and I'm going to use my index finger to beam energy down into there, and then just put a little traction on her teeth.
So Dr. Hall, when you're monitoring the sphenoid bone, you're not just stabilizing it, but you're trying to coordinate when it's in flexion, in terms of coordinating movement that you're imposing while it's in a state of flexion or extension? I'm not sure.
Right, so, yeah, and this is, sorry, we'll get to that in a second. So this is something we didn't talk about yesterday, but for right now, at your stage of practice, you want to stabilize the sphenoid and when you're doing stuff to the hard palate.
Okay, so
but later on, once you get a little better with your palpation and more confident, you can actually work with the system in a dynamic state. So you would let the sphenoid keep working, and you'd be working the hard palate with it, because you're still monitoring to make sure you're not sending tension into the cranial base. And it's a lot more efficient to work with it, to let it kind of work itself out instead of hold it still, and So at this point I usually just keep track of the sphenoid and work with it, and you can feel when you pull on the maxilla what that does to the sphenoid. It starts to over here on this side. I was going to say shimmer. It feels like a shimmer. However, what a shimmer feels like.
And the normal sensation of the teeth when you're in flexion is that they should be extending out?
Yeah, rotating, yeah.
Okay, because the external...
But she had a flexion extension lesion, so I could only feel extension. I couldn't feel flexion in her palate.
Okay.
But then this compression. So, okay, now they're starting to I'm feeling heat with my right thumb is coming out through the top of her hard palate. So I'm feeling the heat right here in this part of my thumb as it's coming out. I'm encouraging her teeth towards her feet.
Okay. And you're on the
But how
left
much force
side
am
of
I
her-
using, Linda? Can you feel?
Hardly any. It's really nice.
But you feel
But I
it.
can feel it.
Yeah.
And you're on her left side?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and you're encouraging feet to go
And
out.
you're on that left side because that's where you felt that.
Compression. So I'm doing a direct technique because it's if it's pushed up, you pull it out. That's a direct technique. And I'm beaming energy with this finger, and it's starting to unwind now. So these teeth are, the teeth are starting to go ring, ring back and forth and moving around like that as I'm gently encouraging them that way.
So with that left side was superior in terms of you felt the compression. You call that torsion or
Side bend.
side bending? Okay.
Yeah.
So you need to address all of these before you can get to the F
Mhm.
point. Okay.
So left side.
There we go. So now as it's working its way out, it feels like it's, when I actually pull the teeth towards their feet, they move down a little bit. But they're still moving, they're actually moving this way, side to side, as they're working their way out. And a little bit front to back, so they're kind of wobbling around like that as they're going that way, sorry.
So before, when you were beaming the energy into the area, you were just allowing it to have energy to
To do whatever it needs to
unlock
do.
everything. Okay.
Yeah. There we go. See, now they're going, it feels like this was prohibiting her teeth from moving laterally during flexion. Now they're moving, they're going out laterally a lot more. So once this gets done, we'll check flexion extension again and see what it's doing. So I find that I am stabilizing the sphenoid right now as I'm putting this much pressure on her teeth. So my ring finger and thumb are kind of holding the sphenoid still. But again, I just started doing that because their body asked for that while it's unwinding. Okay, there we go. So let's see how. And relax your jaw for a second. Yeah, so now our teeth are not near as compressed. When I come in like this, I don't get the sense I'm like that. It's more even. Let's see what she's doing. There's flexion. Okay. So now flexion, her back teeth are moving inferiorly a little better. Okay. So now to test the sphenoid, I would, just like testing the vomer, I'd go like this.
You mean the ethmoid?
The ethmoid, sorry, yeah, just ethmoid. And then, so when we wanted to decompress the vomer, we did this kind of thing, right? So now to decompress the ethmoid, I'm just going to do this. And it feels like I get that whole,
What are you doing?
my thumb's up on the bridge of her nose now.
Okay. Oh, okay.
But my finger's in the same place. On the inside, oh sorry, the inside of the,
Oh, the biting mouth.
I had the itch.
that's okay. So the inside of the alveolar ridge, I'm just putting my finger on that, see, so right like that.
Inside of it, okay. So
And
that's
then,
on the hard palate.
so I'm not all the way back, like when I'm feeling the vomer, I'm more, and I've got that allows much firmer contact. So you'll feel the difference. So I actually have good contact with that whole alveolar ridge. And then I just put my thumb up on the bridge of the nose Check that sphenoid again, hold it still, and then encourage it out at about 60 degrees.
You only do this if the ethmoid is, do you feel that it's compressed,
Compressed,
correct?
yeah.
So if you don't
I'm
feel
just
it-
demonstrating. it.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is that would be the move. And but again, if it doesn't need the treatment, you would feel like it would just go whoosh. You'd feel it move easily. And she's got a little bit of a compression in there. Okay. So once you make sure that the hard palate is balanced from yesterday, and then just check the ethmoid. I want to show you the other move to